Sisters, Angels and Dark Mothers alike, and welcome to my first thoughts of Shadowhunters Season 3, Episode 8 of Walk into Darkness. A lot went on in this episode. A lot of feels went on in this episode. I don't even know where to begin, to be completely honest. So we'll just start from the beginning and sort of see how I go from there. We start with Luke and Simon still at Lilith's lair. And the first thing that came into my head, and of course it is because she's obviously the first thing that always gets on my nerves, I was just wondering, why the fuck has Ollie suddenly turned into Lilith's right-hand woman? When did this happen? She's like the last human, or what is it, virtuous disciple. She's like the last one of them to be turned, and yet somehow she's now the right-hand woman, always by Lilith's side, and it's just like, what did she do to deserve that? Is it just because she's Luke's partner or something like that? Or maybe because she killed her mother, that showed that she really was dedicated or something? I don't know, but it really got on my nerves. But I can't tell whether it really got on my nerves because I don't like Ollie, or it got on my nerves for genuine reasons. But I feel like it's maybe in the other area, the fact because I really don't like her, and every time I see her I get angry. So I think that's probably it. But if anyone can like explain to me why Ollie is suddenly Lilith's right-hand woman, it would be greatly appreciated, because the why is lost on me because I have no idea. I want to commend Dominic Sherwood's acting in this episode, especially when they're in his head and he's trying to get them to kill him. As I said, I've never normally cared about Jace. This season is the first season where I've actually felt worried for Jace and actually felt that Jace was in genuine danger, and genuine danger that I actually cared about, that is. And Dominic Sherwood just made that all the more real for me, with how scared he was and how upset he portrayed Jace to be when Isabel and Alec were going to take him out of his head, or out of Lilith's power, or whatever it was. And I was near tears. It was amazing. I think he deserves a wee round of applause for that, because I thought it was amazing. Matthew Daddario and Emery Tobia obviously were also very, very good, but my focus was on Jace in that moment. Like, Dominic Sherwood had me like enwrapped, captivated. I believed every minute of everything he was saying, so I really liked that. I love how much the actors have improved from season 1, the dreaded first episode of season 1 where everyone was just a bit But thinking about season 1 episode 1 and how iffy, to say the least, everyone was, and seeing them all now and how much they've grown and how much they've moulded into their characters, I think it's amazing, and it shows the talent and the dedication of every single actor on the show, and the writers, obviously, because the writers make what the actors produce happen. And especially my focus was on Dominic Sherwood in this episode, because the emotion that he put across was really believable to me, and it just shows that they're not just like actors on like a teen drama on Freeform. They actually are actors with real talent who could actually go somewhere after Shadowhunters, and I think that's amazing. Hopefully when Shadowhunters ends, hopefully, touch wood, that won't be for ages away, but hopefully when it ends, Shadowhunters will have opened doors for these actors to go on and pursue bigger projects and just continue to flourish their acting ability, because they really do have the talent to go far. Oh, the curse of the child actors. Not only did we have the Seelie Queen actress, we also had the Alec, Jason, Isabel kid actors. Oh, it was just an episode full of those child actors and child actors. If you've seen my review on the episode in season 2 where they go to the Seelie Court, you'll know that I am not a fan of child actors. I'm all for child actors, but I'm all for child actors who can act. I'm not all for people hiring kid actors for how they look and they think I think the way it goes is they go, oh, you kind of look like the way Jace would look, or oh, you kind of look like the way Alec would look, and they kind of hire them based on that, and they don't hire them on how they can actually act. They could have also hired that wee boy who plays Jace because he can play the piano, but I think he was in the Parvati episode in season 2, and I don't know if they could think that far ahead when they were hiring him. Maybe it was just a coincidence or a happy accident, I don't know. But they're just so bad. So bad. Isabel and Alec, as child actors, weren't in it that long, thank God. But Jace is probably the Chase child actor is probably one of the worst ones. And he was the one who stayed. So that was just like... And then also, in between that, we had Lola Flannery, the girl who plays the Silly Queen, who still I'm not sold on. Like, I can live with her being the Silly Queen, but I'm not completely sold on it. But I've talked about that before, so we won't get into that again. But yes, we had Jace's child actor for a lot longer in this episode, and he's just not good. I refuse to believe that kids didn't audition for Shadowhunters with actual talent. I refuse to believe that these are the only ones that they could find. This was the best of the flock. There has to be good child actors out there, or am I just hoping? Are the days of good child actors over, or like, is that just it? Oh, I can only hope that maybe someday things will get better. And maybe, just throwing out ideas here, maybe they'll actually hire actors on their talent and not how they look, but we had more Maya and Jordan scenes in this episode, and I'm actually really happy with how this is going. I said this last week, and I'll say it again. I'm really happy with how they're dealing with the Maya and Jordan thing. Even if it did resort in Maya leaving for a while, I do believe she will be coming back, but I really do like how they're taking this carefully, and they're taking what is going on between them seriously, because that didn't happen in the books, but won't get into that again. Because this is a very delicate situation between the two, and Jordan is trying to show that he has changed and he's a reformed man, but he doesn't seem to understand that he needs to let Maya come to terms with the fact that he's back on her own, you know, because even if he is a better man, and even if he has changed from who he was back then, he still left her there to die, and he still has to let Maya adjust to the fact that he's back, but he's different. It can't be on his terms, it has to be on her terms. And I think that Shadowhunters is portraying that really well, and putting across the fact that Maya is hurt. She is really hurt, because the situation with Jordan really hurt her. Like, it's not something that you can just shrug off and be like, oh, well, you know, the guy who turned me into a werewolf and left me in the cold is back, you know, I can hang around him all the time. And Shadowhunters understands that. And they've got Maya going away to clear her head, which will hopefully give Jordan more time to actually prove to the audience and prove to us that he is a changed man. Because right now he's saying it and he has proved it a bit, but he needs to continue to prove it for us to be able to accept him as a good guy. And accept him that he has changed and that he's not the person he was when he turned Maya. So I'm glad that we're getting those opportunities to see Jordan in a different light and to give Maya the time that she needs to adjust and recover. Emery Tobias sung in this episode. I knew this was happening because I saw it on Twitter. Todd Slapkin tweeted that Emery Tobias was going to be singing in this episode, and I was like, what? I was like, I'm all for it, but what? I wanted to see if Emery Tobias could sing like an actual professional, like with like, you know, music and like backup and shit. I didn't know how that was going to be put into the episode, but it was still in my head. Or if it was more of a rustic kind of thing, like when Jennifer Lawrence sung The Hanging Tree in The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. Because you don't have to have like these brilliant vocals that, you know, like sail off like Adele, and like you don't have to sound off like an opera singer. Sometimes the more rustic and raw your voice is, the more believable it is. And in this scenario, this was definitely how that worked, because it was their bedtime song. You don't sing a bedtime song with backup singers, you know, have a performance going on. You don't start opera singing it to your kids. You very much take it very quiet and very careful, and it's not like you're trying to impress your kids. You're trying to get them to go to sleep. And I just loved that moment between Isabel and little Jace. And the song was so lovely. And Emery did a brilliant job. Her boyfriend Prince Royce would be so proud of her. Oh, I loved that. I loved all the moments between Alec, Jace and Isabel in this episode, but I'm going to discuss the sibling bond more in Fair and Unbiased. I just think it was brilliantly done and brilliantly put forward, and I was bowled over by it. I'm all for the Jace, Alec and Isabel sibling bond. I could like watch like them be siblings. I know that sounds weird, but I could watch them be siblings just like all the time because I just love it so much, and it's so believable too when it's not the child actors doing it, but we won't get into that conversation again. I never thought I would be sad to see a room full of dead Clarys. Like, normally a room full of dead Clarys, I'd be laughing, I'd be thinking, oh that's great, but it was like, oh she finally got what she deserved. I would shake the hand of the person who did it to her. That's a bit far, but still, you get my point. I'm not really a fan of Clary. But I was sad. Because as soon as you saw the dead Clarys, you knew exactly what was going on. Especially when you saw Jace on the bed, you were just like, oh no. Like, this is what he's been doing. This is what's been going on in his head this entire time. Oh. So sad. So horrible for Jace. I don't feel so much sympathy for Clary, but she's there. Clary's there. And once Alec and Isabel showed up, wait no, just when Alec showed up, all the bodies disappeared because Jace felt safe again, and that was just so adorable. I loved it so much. It was so brilliant. This episode was great. Anything that has the sibling bond in it is great, because for a very long time Parabatai Lost was my favourite episode because I loved the Parabatai dynamic between Alec and Jace. And I just love all the moments that show, yes, these three adults grew up together. Like, they may not all be related by blood, but they are related by experience and loyalty to one another. And I think that is just, I have no words for it. I love the idea of family doesn't end in blood. I'm not sure where that's from. It could be Supernatural. I don't watch Supernatural, but I've heard it before. I've heard that saying before. I even have a patch on my jacket that says blood makes you related, loyalty makes you family, because that is something that I really truly believe in through my own experiences. And I think I just love the way Shadowhunters is putting it forward, because there are people in my life who I would consider family more than particular people who are related to me by blood, and that is because they have been there for me, and I've had experiences with them, and they appreciate me as much as I appreciate them, and they're bluntly honest with me. Like, they'll tell me when I'm being a twat, which is just, that's just great. So I'm a big fan of this idea that you don't have to be blood related to be family. That is a really important theme to me, and it's really important for me to see that in Shadowhunters, and I love how they're portraying it, and I just can't wait to see more of it. I really hope Jace gets freed. The poor man, he's suffering. Jesus. So that's it for First Thoughts, Shadowhunters, Angels and Dark Mothers like. I will discuss the kind of plot-oriented things like Lilith and what Alec and Isabel did in Jace's head and what that means, and Luke and Simon and May and Jordan and all that in Fair and Unbiased. So I'll see you then, Shadowhunters, Angels and Dark Mothers like, and remember, blood makes you related, loyalty makes you family.